Hey YouTube, it's Little Rocker Cutie 2005, also known as Andre here. Once again, I'm chilling with the awesome Buffy Zany Man, also known as Chris. And I want to thank a couple people for the birthday wishes. First of all, Cinema Sickness in his message to the viewers on the 31st. He gave me a great birthday wish, so I thank him for that. Also, everybody who left me comments in my last couple videos wishing me a happy birthday, I want to thank you all. I did have a decent birthday, but first off, well, I got these. Let me scooch up a little. I don't know if you can see them, but I got these pajamas for my birthday. My mom got them yesterday because it was payday. And then on the 29th, and this pertains to the video we're about to do, which is my slasher collection. But anyways, on the 29th, my mom went to the military surplus store, which is where Chris and I get our movies sometimes. And she got me something really cool, which is this. It is an autographed picture of Heather Langenkamp from the original Nightmare on Elm Street. As you can see, it was made out to somebody, but they tried rubbing it out, so that kind of divided a little bit. But her autograph is still there, and it says Sweet Dreams, and it says Heather Langenkamp and Nancy under it. And then my mom wrote this on the back for me, happy 29th birthday, and then she put my favorite line, whatever you do, don't fall asleep. So I think this is just like the ultimate birthday present, but enough about that. Let's get into the slashers, which is what I know you're all here for. So what do you want to start with? Well, since I showed off that picture, let's talk about the classic Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, this is the 1984 original from Wes Craven, featuring Johnny Depp in his film debut. Also, John Saxon in a good role. As I mentioned, Heather Langenkamp, she's Nancy. Of course, she's awesome in the role. Just if I can get that glare off it. There we go. But it's basically that these four kids are having the same nightmare about somebody trying to kill them, and it's up to Nancy, who's the lead, to kind of put a stop to the insanity and the madness and to face the villain in her dreams. And we find out that the villain, of course, is a child killer that the parents torched years ago, and he's come back to take his revenge out on their children. And Nancy is pretty much the only one who can stop it. So, what are your thoughts on the first Nightmare?
I liked it. It was a good movie.
Truly a classic.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
I really don't care for this one.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. I thought it was a decent movie, but I really don't really hate any of the Nightmare movies.
I don't either. There's just a couple I don't get into as much as some of the other ones. But I guess my thoughts on Nightmare 2, they kind of rushed it into production because of the success of the original. They didn't talk to Heather Langenkamp about Nancy coming back, but we'll discuss that in a minute. But again, let's give your thoughts.
I didn't hate it. I didn't like it at the same time. There's good parts, there are bad parts. There's funny parts.
I'm kind of bound by the script.
Also the gay undertones is kind of funny.
They really brought that out.
Especially to get going to the gay bar.
Yeah.
You saw all these freaky people there.
If you watch the documentary, you learn a lot of stuff about that movie.
Yep.
Next up, we have one of my favorites in the series. It is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. This is actually the first one I remember seeing at a young age, and it brings back Heather Langenkamp as Nancy, and she's helping the last of the Elm Street children who are now in a psych ward, and because Freddy's after them, and the doctors don't believe him, so it's up to Nancy and this one other doctor who believes her to help these kids put a stop to Freddy once and for all. But tragically, of course, Nancy dies, and most of the fans, especially me, I'm a fan who hates that part because Nancy was one of my favorites. But this one also introduces another favorite character of mine. As you can see, Patricia Arquette as Kristen. She was really cool in my opinion, and I thought she was a really strong addition to the series, at least for this movie. Very capable, very good actress, as well as the rest of the cast. They're all very capable and very talented, and I'm surprised a lot of them didn't do more after this. Want to give your thoughts?
Well, that's one of my favorite ones. Not the favorite one of mine, but this is pretty much one of the best ones out in the series.
It's like the fan favorite.
Although they bring some it's like a lot of starting roles in there, like Lawrence Fishburne's in there.
Yeah.
And Patricia Arquette, and then there was the doctor,
Dr. Gordon,
who was in Carrie.
Oh no, that was Dr. Sims. Yeah, she's the one from Carrie. She was Sue's mother.
Yep.
And in real life, that was her real mother.
My favorite one, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4.
I have nothing bad to say on this one. This is one of my favorites.
Basically, it takes off about a year later.
More like a few months.
It doesn't really give it time.
No, there's really no timeline.
So, yeah, and Kristen is having bad feelings, so he's coming back. The two stars don't believe her, and Joey and Kincaid end up dying that night. And Kristen tells them about Freddy, and her mother thinks she's helping her by putting sleeping pills in her drink, and she ends up dying in a dream. But before that, she brings Alice into her dreams.
Your favorite character,
oh, yeah.
As well as one of mine.
And she gives her dream.
Her power to pull people in her dreams.
Yep. I looked up Alice, actually. Her powers is pretty much, besides being a guardian of good dreams, she copies, when people get killed by Freddy, she gets their powers.
Yeah.
He gets herself, but she gets their powers. But the bad side of her powers is it was slowly killing her. That's what she told Ash in the Ash vs. Jason vs. Freddy comic. And one of my favorite all-time horror movie fight scenes in this.
Nobody had gone up against Freddy toe-to-toe like Alice did, in my opinion.
Yep. She's like the first one to get in a full fight scene, but not the first one to face him one-on-one.
Right.
She's the first one to go right after him. And pretty much the first one to... I don't want to say the first one to kill him.
No, the first one to kill him was Nancy in the first one.
Technically didn't really die.
True.
But in this one, she's like probably the first one to truly kill him. The Dream Master.
In a very cool way.
The Dream Master prayer.
Yup. I guess my thoughts on this one. It is one of my favorites in the series. I think replacing Patricia Arquette with Tuesday Night was kind of a bad choice because the chemistry between her and then Kincaid and Joey, who did come back, it wasn't really like the same. But Alice, like I said, she's one of my favorite characters. Very capable heroine, and near the end when she's gaining all her powers and getting ready for Freddy, she's a very cool character. And in this one, I really like her.
Can we talk about this one?
Might as well.
Freddy's...
Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
This pretty much picks up... This actually picks up at the end of the school year. Graduation day.
Yep.
And Freddy, now Alice...
Basically, Dan and Alice are going to have a baby, and Freddy tries to come back through Alice's baby's dreams.
Right, and pretty much in this one, the baby is sleeping, and Freddy is able to terrorize people in their dreams.
Yep.
So, what I kind of do like this movie, but at the same time, it bugged me that seemingly she forgets she's a Dream Master.
I'm not the biggest fan of it because I think they made Alice kind of a weaker character in this one.
Because they made her forget, they didn't include her Dream Master powers.
Right.
Her Guardian of Positive Dreams thing.
Right. They should have done something with the element of that.
Yeah, but they didn't. But although, shortly after this movie in the comic book series, her and her son leave town.
Let's see, I've never read the comics, so...
I read about it online. So that's how I get information.
Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. Now, I don't know much to say about this one. I've only seen it a few times, but from what I've seen, this woman here, her name's Maggie, and she's a psychologist at this shelter, and she's helping these kids who have nightmares, and of course the nightmares are about Freddy, and later in the movie we find out that Maggie is actually Freddy's daughter, and it's pretty much up to her to finally kill him and put a stop to everything. But it had a lot of cameos, you know, Roseanne and Tom Arnold were in here, Alice Cooper makes an appearance, even Johnny Depp comes back to make an appearance. I think that those were some pretty cool ideas, but with some of this movie, I don't know. Some of it worked for me and some of it didn't. That's all I can say. Wait. You gotta give your thoughts.
My thoughts are pretty much on that movie is I liked it too. But the big final kill
With the pipe bomb?
Yeah, I didn't really care for that.
I know.
They could have done something better. Or brought back survivors. I don't know.
They could have done something more original.
Yep.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I'll let Chris talk about this one first.
Basically, it's the entity version of Freddy. Because according to what I read on the internet, there's 3 different versions. There's, technically for this, the Nightmare on Elm Street series Freddy, the Entity Freddy, the Mortal Kombat Freddy, and the Remake Freddy. But this is the Entity Freddy, the entity that was in the script. And Nancy's been having nightmares and getting strange phone calls. And and her son Dylan is acting weird. And pretty much she finds out Wes Craven's writing a new script, and the movie's word for word of that script.
Yep. And then she's supposed to be in it.
And then she has a final fight with Freddy.
That was just great.
Yep. This movie is of all the series, this is the one that I think this is the smartest writing in the entire thing.
I agree. Even my mom agreed with that.
It's so good.
She said it was very smartly done, and I happen to agree.
It's a smart movie. It's a good movie. Why it takes, I don't know. But you know what? It's one of the best movies out there. It's number 2 on my list of favorite Freddy movies.
We ought to do a ranking one of these days like we did with the Halloween movies.
I think we have the list somewhere.
Yeah, I know. Well, my thoughts on New Nightmare. This is one of the ones I saw as a kid, and it was one I really got into. Of course, Heather Langenkamp coming back just made it even that much better for me. Miko Hughes, he's fantastic as Dylan, even though we've seen him before in Pet Sematary. But he makes a really good transition, growing up a bit, as we all see, because he went from Pet Sematary to Kindergarten Cop, and then I think to this a couple years later. But he was a very capable young actor, and I think he did a good job. Haha. Freddy vs. Jason. What can be said about this one?
I was happy to see Freddy back in a new movie.
You may as well mention it was the first horror movie you saw.
Oh yeah, what? Second.
Second?
Remember Final Destination?
Oh yeah.
But this is the first that got me into it, and it was an original. It was probably the original versus in the horror genre. I'm not sure.
No, there was the ones. This was based on the ones from the 40s. Frankenstein versus the Wolfman and all that kind of stuff.
Like I said, I wasn't sure, but I digress. And we got two big guys going
toe to toe.
And Jason was the hell started the whole damn thing.
It's like in the tagline, winner kills all.
And it took like 10 years to make. And hundreds of scripts.
40 something different drafts. 60 something different writers.
Like I said, hundreds. Yeah, and I like the beginning.
Oh, where Jason comes back?
I'm talking about
Or the very beginning?
the very beginning.
Okay.
Where the montage of the clips and rolls.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
I think they should use more from every movie than just number 3.
Right.
Like, there's some awesome scenes in 4 they don't use. There's some... They should show more of his daughter and his daughter. They should show like a little bit more, and like a little bit more of the Dream Child.
Right. Well, my thoughts on this one. I thought it was pretty cool to have two Titans going up against each other. You know, this was a really fun one to watch. It's got a capable cast. You know, I like Monica Keena. Kelly Rowland dying just kind of ticked me off. But that's because at the time I was a fan of Destiny's Child. And I don't know, it seems like the black people always die in these movies. And I don't know what to say about that, except thank God I've never been in a theater for one of these movies when a black person has died, like my bro Little Craze 25 did for his showing of Friday the 13th.
I mentioned that's the highest grossing.
Yeah, this was the highest grossing of both the Nightmare and the Friday the 13th series. Made like $80-something million in the U.S. alone.
Until then, it was like number 4 that was the highest grossing.
Number 4 made like $50-something million.
Yep, so... This is a 2-day special edition, number 1.
I got this mainly for the special features.
And just... the movie's remastered and all that good stuff, and it just basically has a documentary. The house that Freddy built. Pop-up promos for that merch backtrack in the video. Which I did that. That's pretty cool. The features are good.
It's a cool version to have. If you can't get the old one, I'd say get this one.
An audio commentary by Wes Craven, Pellegrini Camp, John Saxton.
Yeah, it's on the old one.
Yep, and there's alternate endings here too.
Yep, and I don't think the alternate endings are on the old one. The other one I showed off.
It's on the box set bonus disc.
Yeah.
So. Ugh.
Ugh. The Nightmare remake. Ugh.
Listen, people, leave it alone. This is a prime example of why you should not fuck with classics.
It's only in my collection because I'm a completist. I do watch it from time to time, but it is not my favorite at all. Jackie Earle Haley is a horrible Freddy. I mean, they recreate scenes from the first one and do it just too quick, or they ruin them. There's just so much stuff wrong with this movie. I mean, they got a director who is only known for music videos, just like Michael Bay does with most of his movies. What can I say that hasn't been said? I guess those are his thoughts.
The best documentary you will ever see about a horror movie. Nightmare on Elm Street, The Legacy.
Never Sleep Again.
Never Sleep Again. It's
4 hours long. They take like 30-40 minutes talking about each movie, which is really cool. They spend a lot of time getting a lot of interviews with nearly everybody in the cast of the movies.
It goes more details than the Friday the 13th documentary or the Halloween documentary.
Well, with the Friday the 13th documentary, they're coming out with a new one that's going to be like this one.
Good, because what was wrong with the documentary for that one was they brought movie stars in there.
Movie stars and people from magazines and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's like, we don't give a shit. We want the people who are there.
Right, the cast, the producers, the directors.
I don't care what the guy from Psych says. I don't care what Sean says from Psych. I don't care if he's a fan. I don't care that there's no Angela was a fan. You want a documentary, you want to know behind the scenes things and talk to people.
Yeah.
You don't skip on the thing, get lazy.
But we'll get more into the Friday the 13th documentary a little later.
Yes.
Next up, this is a favorite of mine. It is the original Child's Play. Now, I have this on VHS. It's an X-rental, and I only have this because I can't find the DVD version I want. I want the Chucky's 20th birthday edition because it has that commentary by Brad Dourif as Chucky. But this is a really cool movie. It's about this kid who wants a good guy doll for his birthday, and he ends up getting one, but it's possessed by the spirit of this killer, as you see in the beginning of the movie. He puts his soul into this doll, and the mother buys it from this hobo out back of her business and takes it home to her son. Then later on, the babysitter ends up getting killed, and nobody's believing the little boy that the doll here is alive, and it just gets crazier and crazier up until the end, and it's just one that it was recommended to me when I first got into horror as a kid. I watched the first 3 back to back, and this was one. I do have kind of a funny story. I knew a couple people that had My Buddy dolls, and I knew Chucky was based off of My Buddy, so when I would go to their house, I'd be like, put that thing away!
My buddy, my buddy.
The commercial never scared me, it was the damn doll.
My buddy and me. Like that ugly thing?
I hate that thing.
Child's
Play 2. This is... Go ahead.
The sequel to the first one. And I like it, but I don't like it at the same time.
I think it's probably my favorite in the series.
I just know that Chuck comes back, goes after Andy again. He ends up killing his teacher.
Yep.
With a ruler.
Yeah.
This was actually a funny death.
That was.
Speaking of the death, picture the death.
I like the when he kills the foster father. He's got that cool line. How's it hanging, Phil?
Damages at all time.
But I think what I like about this one is that they added a little comedy to it, because the people that adopt Andy already have a good guy doll. And this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. When Chucky first gets into the house, he runs into this good guy, and it goes, "Hi, I'm Tommy." Chucky goes, "Shut up, you idiot." And he hits it, it starts going, "I like to be hugged," over and over. And Chucky picks up this priceless, China doll and goes, "Hug this." Starts whacking it till he breaks it. Then he buries it under the swing and is like, "Eat dirt, Tommy." Now, I don't have Child's Play 3 in my collection. It is one I need, so we're going to skip over that one, and we're going to talk about Bride of Chucky. Now, this one was actually made in 1998. I think it was the 10th anniversary of the first one, so they decided to do this. And I think this was a pretty interesting one. You know, you bring Jennifer Tilly as his old girlfriend, who rebuilds Chucky, puts him back together, only to have him turn her into a doll herself. It's basically kind of a rip on the Bride of Frankenstein thing from the 30s, but I think this was a cool way to bring Chucky back. This is another one of my favorites, and I don't know what else to say that hasn't been said, but I'm gonna let Chris give his thoughts.
I like Jennifer Tilly's role in that.
She did a good job.
It's cool to see Jason's mask, Freddy's glove, Michael's mask, and
The chainsaw.
And I like the puzzle in there too.
What, the Hellraiser box?
Yeah.
I didn't see the Hellraiser box in there.
I thought I saw it in there.
Huh.
They're gonna have so much shit in there.
I know.
You couldn't have mistaken anything, but they had a bunch of serial killer crap in there. Yeah. Seed of Chucky.
I don't know what to say about this one.
It was weird.
It was.
Jennifer Tilly played herself and the doll. And she got pregnant with Chucky's seed.
Yeah.
With turkey baster. So. And at the end of the last one, Chucky had a baby.
Yep.
Which is in the circus. He escapes, finds them, has the ambulance still, and brings them back to life.
I think, in my opinion, this is probably the worst one in the series. I don't know. I mean, there's supposed to be a new one coming out this year. Curse of Chucky, I think it's coming out in October. Then they got the remake coming out next year, which I've already heard that Catherine Hicks and Brad Dourif are coming back for sure. which I hope it does turn out to be interesting with them coming back, but who knows? We'll see what happens. Okay, now we're getting into one of my favorites that Lil Craze 25 is also into, and it's one I recommended to him, but it is Wrong Turn. Now, I had mainly got into this movie because, as you can see, Eliza Dushku's in it, and it's got a lot of good people. Desmond Harrington from Ghost Ship, what's his name? Jeremy Sisto, who's been in a lot of stuff. It's just got a really strong, capable young cast, and it's about these cannibals in the backwoods of West Virginia, and they kill and eat people. It's just a really cool, gory, like, throwback to all the old slasher movies. It's one that I really enjoy.
I really enjoyed, these two are like the ones I only enjoyed enough.
Yeah, this also comes with Wrong Turn too, so.
This one I pretty much only really enjoyed in the series. Others was found pointless, but I like Wrong Turn. I watched Wrong Turn because Eliza Dushku was in it. And number 2 had Henry Rollins.
Henry Rollins, the girl who played Pepper in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then the guy who played Lewis in Final Destination 3.
I'll just watch it for Henry Rollins.
Yeah, except the fact that he dies.
Yep. Wrong Turn 3.
I've only watched this once, so the thing I don't really understand about it is you've got, like, in Wrong Turn 2, you had a whole family of killers. In this one, I think you've only got, like, 1 or 2. And, of course, one of them gets killed and the other one's just out for revenge against these prisoners. And it's kind of an interesting take, you know, prisoners versus the cannibals and who's going to win and all that. But it's just, I don't know.
I just didn't really see it as currently being necessary.
Well, it's not one of the best in the series. A lot of people say the series started going downhill after Part 3.
And then we have the 4th one.
Which is a prequel.
Which
and
I didn't really see necessarily make a prequel.
Part 5 is a second prequel.
I don't see the necessary. I don't need to see the necessary for prequel, this prequel, or the 5 prequel.
Especially this far into the series.
It's like you don't do prequels as far as this series, unless it's absolutely necessary for like to fill in holes, and we didn't really need holes filled in this one.
No, there really weren't any. But this is basically the backstory about the cannibals and their first kills and all that. And, of course, it's about a group of college students who are going on a snowmobile trip, and they get snowed in at this abandoned hospital where the cannibals are. And, of course, they all start dying one by one, just like any Wrong Turn movie. Now, I don't have 5 in my collection. I'm hoping to get it soon, but I don't want to pay full price for it. As most of you know, I am a bargain hunter, so if I find it for a cheap enough price, then I'll get it.
So,
this was a breath of fresh air.
It was actually an original idea at the time.
Yeah.
Where this guy kidnaps people who would take life for granted and puts them through traps. Which it was like one of the best movies out there.
It was for its time. It was really cool.
Especially the twist endings I always look forward to.
Yeah.
I love those twist endings.
They're really worth it, and they kind of hook you for the sequel.
Yes, they do. Number 2.
This one's probably my favorite in the series because it brings back the girl we see in the head trap in the first one. Her name's Amanda, and she's apparently helping the people that are trapped in this one. But we have another twist ending, which I won't reveal if you haven't seen this movie. So, but as you'll see as we go further into the Saw movies, they all have twist endings that kind of hook you into the next one. Your thoughts on Saw 2?
I liked it. It was. I think it got better after the first one.
They did.
What people say the first one is standalone. It's like perfect for a series.
Yeah. This was the perfect sequel.
We have number 3.
This one was interesting. It does bring back Amanda once again. But I think this time we end with Jigsaw dying, but...
They kidnap a nurse to help him out.
Oh, yeah.
And they kidnap the husband, too, who has to go through his trials after their daughter died. Not after his son died. He started being like an asshole, I guess.
And isn't he trying to save the nurse who's like his wife or something?
Yeah, and he ends up shooting them all, killing them all. Well, the wife has done a trap. If his heart monitor went down, she was killed.
Yep.
And he ends up playing a tape at the end saying, "What about your daughter?" And he realizes his mistake.
Yeah. I guess my thoughts on this one, it's kind of an interesting one for the series. I don't know, I liked it, but I didn't at the same time. It wasn't my favorite in the series, but as the series went on, I don't know, I mean, I haven't seen 5, 6, and 7, even though we will be talking about them, but Chris may be giving more on them than I will, so we'll just go on.
Okay, number 4 basically is the same. It pretty much takes off with 3 is going at the same time.
Yep.
And it's been a while since I watched this. It's like a SWAT commander rig. There's a doctor who's going through the games too. And we meet his other apprentice in this movie too.
Isn't that Hoffman guy?
Yep.
Let's say this was actually the last one that I really watched, but I only watched it one time. But this was one that I did like, and I thought it was kind of fun for a Saw movie, you know. Interesting way to take it at the same time 3 was going on, but it was pretty intense. I enjoyed it.
Okay, this is Saw 5. Basically, Hoffman is tying up loose ends, and there's another trap going on. And with these, I think, 5 people are there. No, it starts with 6 of them. And then they all die one by one. And the trap is cleverly designed, where if they work together as a team, they could have gotten all this trap alive and gone through the last trap together. Because it required them to bleed.
It's an interesting way to take it.
Yep.
I haven't seen this one yet, so...
Here's Saw...
Saw 6.
Let's see here. This is basically... In the 5th one, Jigsaw's wife gets something in a box that leads to this one. And she goes after him. Pretty much, just so I remember.
Well, I haven't seen this one either, so...
The final chapter is awesome. The fortunate asshole survives.
No.
I mean, I didn't really explain how he got on the chair because he was pretty well strapped in.
Right.
So.
What about the one that cut off his foot in the first one? Because didn't he come back for this one?
Yeah. That's the twist. And pretty much Hoffman's gone out of control and starts killing people. And he thinks he got away with it, but he didn't.
I've heard rumors of a part 8.
I heard that's the part of this rumor, but this for the foot guy is the twist at the end about him.
I might have to watch the last 3 and kind of catch up on the story.
Only had 2 years.
I know, I've had them for a while. Next up is a true classic. The original My Bloody Valentine. Now, I thought this was one of the perfect slasher movies. I mean, it had a very creepy killer, some cool death scenes, and this is actually probably the best version to get because it's got the extra gore in it. And for anybody who's looking for this movie, I would recommend either this version or the Blu-ray that's out because it's got the same stuff as this one does, but since I don't have the Blu-ray, I had to settle for this, but it's the same thing, so it makes me happy. I'm happy with it. It's a good slasher, but let's get Chris's thoughts.
It's an interesting slasher, but I don't understand why it has to do with Valentine's Day.
The killer hates Valentine's Day. The miners left for a party, and they left him in there, and a fire started. And so a few years later, he comes back on Valentine's Day and kills a bunch of people. That's basically the plot.
Don't you have that movie with Dave Boreanaz?
Valentine?
Yeah.
I have that recorded. I don't have the DVD. And the remake.
With Jason Ackleson.
And, what's his name? Kerr Smith from Final Destination and The Forsaken.
Basically, same story plot.
Probably gorier death scenes. I haven't seen this one yet.
I've seen like half of it, and
we did start watching it here once, but there was a 10-year-old here. It was his idea to watch it, and we got caught watching it because of a sex scene, and I'm the one who got in trouble because it was in my collection.
yeah, that part, it's like, I don't know, it's sad to that, but other than that, it's not like, I think you need to leave the room for that.
Yeah, should have made him leave the room when we started the damn thing.
He's a little spoiled brat, so.
Well, next up, I have here, from the producers of My Bloody Valentine, it is Happy Birthday to Me. Now, I did watch this the night of my birthday, and I had a good time with it, watching it for a second time. It's a really cool slasher, and a really original idea with a cool twist ending, and some very cool death scenes. Any thoughts?
I haven't watched it.
This is one you need to watch. It's a classic.
Phantasm.
I don't know much about this one, so I'll just let Chris go on about this one.
Basically, it's about this guy called the Tall Man who steals dead bodies, takes their brains up, puts them in these orbs, and makes the bodies into dwarfs. And this kid is investigating this, and and his brother too, and they're from battling the Tall Man.
I was say I don't know what to say about it. Like I said, I'd have to watch it, but I'm trying to get the rest of them.
Don't you remember the scene from Boogeyman?
Yeah, that's all I've seen of this movie. The Hitcher. Well, actually, this is the remake, but a lot of people shit on this movie, and I can see why. It's got some bad parts to it, but it's also got some good parts to it. You know, some people say that Sean Bean doesn't make a believable villain, but if you watch him in, like, GoldenEye, I think he's a believable villain there, and he's also a very believable villain here, in my opinion. I mean, he makes a very capable Hitcher. You know, going up against a guy and a girl, you know, that could have been changed. They could have just made it the girl instead of having the guy with her, but spoiler alert, the guy ends up getting killed like the girl does in the original. The girl goes after him at the end, and everybody who's seen this, we all know the ending, so.
And there's famous truck pull scenes in there still.
That's the scene I was talking about. With the guy getting killed instead of the girl.
I don't know, it's nothing about the movie, it's called Identity.
This one is about a bunch of people that are stranded at this hotel in a rainstorm, and they're all getting killed off one by one, and they don't know who's doing the killings or who the killer is, but all these people are like disappearing, and it's got kind of a twist ending that I won't reveal, but it's one I would recommend. I enjoyed it, and I'd say check it out. It's got John Cusack, Amanda Peet, Ray Liotta. There's a lot of good people in this movie.
Rustler Maniac.
Ah, this is one Shauna Tonin sent me. It's actually about a killer wrestler who rips people's faces off. This was just so, I don't know. I mean, I thought this was one of the most unique slasher movies I've ever seen. I mean, to have a killer wrestler, no less. And as a matter of fact, he's the uncle of WWE superstar Rey Mysterio, which I think is even cooler. But I don't know what else to say on this movie. I'd have to watch it again, but I want to thank Shauna Tonin for sending me this. I really enjoyed it. And Lil Craze 25, if you ever get a chance to see this movie, I'd highly recommend you check it out.
See No Evil.
Ah, I can talk more about this one. This one actually features the wrestler Kane, and he's a killer who hides out in this hotel that's been run down for years. And these kids, they're like, I think they're on community service, and they show up to clean the place up. And of course, this killer, Kane, of course, he starts killing them one by one with this hook. And the cool thing is, after he kills them, he rips their eyes out. It's just a really unique take on a slasher movie, and it's one that both Lil Craze 25 and I really enjoyed because we're into wrestling, so.
Sorority Row.
Actually a remake of The House on Sorority Row, which I've never seen, but I have seen this one. I did like that they killed Audrina Patridge in the beginning. Carrie Fisher, she did a good job as a house mother. I really liked her. This actually has Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's daughter in it. She did a good job. Basically, these sorority sisters, they're playing a prank, and one of their own ends up getting killed, and they try and cover it up, but like a year later, I think it is, somebody comes back and they pretty much want revenge.
I haven't seen it, so.
It's one I'd recommend you check out.
When was this released?
Let me see. This is from 2009.
Sounds like a plot for Pretty Little Liars.
Like I said, it's a remake.
Yeah, episode Pretty Little Liars. Ugh. How can they make
it had nothing to do with Pretty Little Liars.
Let me finish my thought. That movie, that show's stupid.
I know it is.
I mean, how can they make like seasons out of that plot?
They're like on season 3 or 4 or something like that.
It's like it seems like a tired old same thing over and over.
Right. But basically, Sorority Row, that's a remake of the old 80s movie, The House on Sorority Row. Yep. And we're here with another remake. This is Black Christmas. Now, I did like this movie. This is another one with a lot of good people. A lot of people you'll recognize from some of the Final Destination movies. You got Michelle Trachtenberg from Buffy the Vampire Slayer in there. Lacey Chabert from Mean Girls. Who else we got? Katie Cassidy from When a Stranger Calls and the Nightmare Remake.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
From Final Destination 3 and Grindhouse.
And it's basically about you live in this house where this family used to live. The mother, a single parent, and the father hated the son, and her lover killed the father and locked the son in the basement. Not basement, attic.
Yeah, the attic.
And she wanted another child, but he was too drunk and passed out before him, so she goes upstairs and seduces him and gets pregnant. And he ends up killing them all.
Yep.
Except for the daughter. And they live in the attic, and sorority moves in there, and they start killing people.
It's a pretty interesting movie, in my opinion.
It's interesting, but
I've never seen the original, but I've heard the original's really good. I'd like to check it out if I could ever find it.
It's interesting, but I wouldn't call it a horror movie classic.
No. The original's the classic. Another remake, House of Wax.
Basically, these people are traveling and car breaks down like they usually do in these horror movies. And they start driving one by one. Paris Hilton got good.
Yeah, she had a good kill. Right through the head.
You went straight through, no brain.
Yep.
And it starred, Elizabeth Cuthbert.
Alicia Cuthbert from 24.
Michael Murray.
Let's see, he was in,
One Tree Hill.
Yeah, One Tree Hill.
Ryan Van Holt.
I don't know what he was in. You got Paris Hilton, and then, of course, Jared Padalecki from Supernatural and the Friday the 13th remake.
And Gilmore Girls.
Oh, yeah.
He played Dean.
That's right, he was on Gilmore Girls.
Ironically enough, he's Gilmore Girls to play Dean.
And
then
Supernatural, he's playing Sam.
No, his brother's name's Dean.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I like this movie. No, because he killed the bitch, but
I like it too.
Yep. It's an interesting story and all that good stuff.
Interesting story, interesting killer. Interesting take on a horror movie. Especially for a remake.
Keep your interest.
Alright, where we at? Oh, well, it looks like we gotta switch chips, so we will be right back with ya. Just give us a second. And we're back with ya. We're still talking about a couple remakes here. We got a couple more to go. And next up is one I could not get into because it was like a soap opera. This is the April Fool's Day remake. Now, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about the original. I'd like to see it for myself, but I can tell you right now that I didn't care for the remake. I thought it was a piece of shit.
There was really rarely good parts of that movie.
I agree.
Although I have to bring the original here. I watched it.
You'll have to, because I want to watch it.
Pillbox Murders.
This is one of my favorite remakes. It's a little older one from like 2003, but it's a remake of a 70s movie, and it's directed by Tobe Hooper, who did a very good job with this movie. There's a small appearance by Juliet Landau from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This has Angela Bettis, who was in the Carrie remake. She's a very capable actress and does a good job in here. It's got some good gore, some good practical effects. You know, they don't use much CG for this movie, which is really cool. It's one I really enjoy, and that's pretty much all I can say about it.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, you will. It's a really good one.
Scream 1, 2, 3.
Oh, what can be said about these that hasn't already been said? True classics. Scream is the movie that reinvented the slasher genre.
1 and 2 I like, but 3 is not really my favorite one.
3 is kind of the downhill point because Kevin Williamson didn't write it.
The plot they had for it was just, I don't know, thinning it out.
Well, plus, like I said, they didn't have Kevin Williamson because he was working on Dawson's Creek, and the writer was working from, like, an early treatment that Kevin Williamson had done to make a full script.
See, Kevin Williamson wasn't involved.
That's why 3 is kind of the letdown.
I would think from the draft that Kevin Williamson wrote it was going to be let down anyhow, if he finished it or not.
I think if he had finished it, it would have been better.
I just thought the plot, I was like, oh, you're my brother. It's like, okay. I didn't really think, like, okay, this is thin, really thin now.
It was, but this one really picked it back up. This is Scream 4. Now this one, I think, truly brought it back to the roots of the original, and they did a very good job with this one, bringing back Sidney, Dale, and Dewey all together. And one more time, hopefully they do a 5 and 6. I gave my points on that. I'm not going to go into it again.
I gave my points too that they should kill Cindy already, and Dewey, and the other one.
Gail.
They lived long enough.
I know, but if it's like some people say, Sidney's supposed to be the sole survivor. If you're gonna kill off Dewey and Gail, kill one of them in 5, one of them in 6. Boom, Sidney's the sole survivor.
I just think they should go. Period. They lived long enough. They simply survive every time.
Let's see. Dewey got stabbed in the first one, survived. Gail was in a car crash. Gets shot in the second one and survives. Dewey gets stabbed again, hits some old scar tissue and survives again.
It gets sad back there. It's like the Gail and Dewey need to die, and it's just I don't know.
Well, they're really the only ones who, besides Sidney, who know what's going on and can actually help deal with the shit.
Oh, either way, that's not really a good reason to keep them alive. Like how Lynn Kiff's character knew what's going on, but they still killed her.
I don't know what to say on that one.
I don't know what you did last summer.
Also written by Kevin Williamson at the same time he was writing Scream 2. This is also a very good one with a really capable cast, including Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Ray Prince Jr. and Ryan Philippine.
They did good jobs too.
Ray Prince Jr. so much Gellar and got married.
Yeah, but long after this movie.
That's where they met. And now they have 2 kids.
They worked on the Scooby-Doo movies together.
Yep.
But this is a really fun one. It's based on an old book from the 70s. It was kind of a morality tale. But Kevin Williamson, he took the book and turned his script into more of a slasher type movie, which made it really cool. Like I said, the cast is very capable. This is one that when it first came out, I loved it. I still love it to this day. It's one of my favorites. If you haven't seen I Know What You Did Last Summer, check it out because it's in the vein of Scream. It came out around that same time that the slashers were getting really big again. This is one of the better ones, and I would say check it out.
I still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Fairly decent sequel.
Basically, they go away and the fisherman lives. And there's a tiny bit incident.
Yep, it's got a little bit of a twist.
Starts Ray Prince Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt, Randy,
Mekhi Phifer. Jack Black's in an early appearance in there.
It's actually a decent sequel.
It was.
I like the ending.
They did a good job with it. I have to say, this is probably one of the better sequels to the newer slashers I've seen in a while.
I will always Know What You Did Last Summer.
This one was complete shit.
Yep. I have mixed stuff with this. I don't know what to really say.
I don't know. I don't think I'd ever do a review of that one. I'd end up going into a rant like Rambo After Life does.
Don't worry, I'll just run the room and smack you. Alright?
More than likely.
Not too hard enough to shut you up.
Yeah. Urban Legend. Now, this was one of my favorites when I was growing up. It was one that I had on VHS, and I watched it a lot. And it's one about this killer who's killing these college kids based on all the old urban legends. You know, like somebody in the back seat.
Markaway Pet?
Yeah. The one where the friend is sleeping and the roommate gets killed, and there's "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" written in blood. There's the one with the car.
Yep.
Where the boyfriend's hanging from a tree.
That's the serial killer. That's where they break down. The boyfriend goes to gas. Girl stays in there, falls asleep. Here's
like scratching on the roof.
And gets all the policemen come, wakes her up, and there above her is hanging her boyfriend. Urban Legends Final Cut.
Now, I don't know much about this one because I've only watched it a few times.
Pretty much takes off sometime later. It's basically the security guard from this one was fired from the college from that one after they wanted to keep things quiet. She refused, she was fired, and someone else is doing the serial killer thing with Urban Legends. And they're making a film about it too.
That's one I'm going to have to watch again.
Yep. It's an interesting cast of it.
Yeah, it does. Friday the 13th. This is the From Crystal Lake to Manhattan box set. And it has the first 8 movies in it. And I don't know, should we go over them one by one? Or just talk about the series in general?
We'll talk about this part of the series in general.
Alright.
Basically, you start off with the killer mother, then Jason. Then we go through the bad, 5th one, 7th one, and the panned over 8th one.
I like the 6th one.
The 7th one was my favorite one.
My favorites are the first 4, then 6 and 7.
I like 7, 1, 2, 6 are my favorite ones. In general, it's interesting to watch the evolution of Jason.
But this is a cool set to have. It comes with a cool disc of features. And this one's probably cheaper to get than the newer one they came out with recently. That comes with the mask, that limited edition one. I would say if you could find this one, I'd highly recommend picking it up.
Although, that originally cost $8 to get it.
It's down to like, I don't know how much now. It's cheap.
Yep. Friday the 13th?
That's Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, Friday the 13th. Jason Goes to Hell the following Friday.
Well, they don't call it the Final Friday anymore. That's why it's not on the DVD.
Either way, I love this movie. People hate it because Jason's not in it. He's killing people still, but I loved it.
They hate the whole body switching thing.
I don't think they get over it. I loved it.
I did too. I thought it was a pretty interesting take.
I like the ending where they're fighting Jason.
Yep.
And in the ending, that's our Freddy versus Jason.
I like the part where after the cop switches bodies, he starts melting.
Look at that. Oh, yeah. Probably the least favorite of all the Jason X 8 is Jason X.
Yep. I have to agree.
There's moments in it I do like. But, I don't know. His upgrade I didn't really see necessary.
No, it wasn't necessary. Because then they made him unstoppable.
Well, the only thing that really killed him was the atmosphere.
Right?
I think there's a comic book series called Jason X vs. Jason.
Huh.
I have a couple of issues with that, so.
So what is it, like the Uber Jason versus regular Jason?
Yeah. I don't know how they did it, but I got a couple of issues, so I haven't really read them yet.
Huh. And we have here the remake. Now, I think this was actually a better remake than the Nightmare remake. What they tried to do with this one was take parts of the first four that everybody loved and just give new and exciting twists. But with this one, they also did a recreation of the iconic sleeping bag death from part 7, only they did it a little bit differently, which was really cool.
Yep. The first part of the movie, a bunch of campers get killed by Jason, except for one. And these campers go to the cabin and start dying one by one. This is one of the better remakes. This is probably the best horror remake so far.
This is the one I feel bad for Lil Craze 25. The story is he went to see this, and when the black guy died, there were black people in the theater. They started a riot, throwing popcorn and stuff. Asian guy dies next. There's a bunch of Asians in there. They go crazy.
Oh, how ironic.
And, of course, we have the documentary. His name was Jason. This is the first Friday the 13th documentary, and as I said when we were talking about the Nightmare documentary, there is a new one coming out, because they did make mistakes with this one, and they wanted to fix it.
A lot of mistakes they made with this one. One is bring stars from other shows and other movies to talk about in magazines. It's like, we don't give a shit about them. We want, get all the cast.
We want the stars. We want the cast. We want the crew.
We want to hear behind-the-scenes stories. We want to hear the movies, not
Yep.
Whatever.
How they did the effects and all that.
First time I watched it, I thought it was cool, interesting, but then I was kind of disappointed in it.
I was too.
But the extra features are decent.
Yeah, it's cool to have for all the extra stuff. And we're getting into another classic. This is Halloween. Of course, it's an icon with Jamie Lee Curtis going up against the faceless killer. I don't know what else can be said, but this is one that I love. It's one I grew up on thanks to my grandma. It's one that I still enjoy to this day, and my tradition is I watch this one, part 2, in H2O every Halloween.
Yeah, we watch part 1, and then we'll watch part 2. Of course, last time we really we did it a couple times. One of the times we tried to, the little kid kept interrupting.
Yeah.
But that's the last time we tried it.
That was the last time we tried it. That was the last time we had a TV we could hook the DVD player up to.
Yep. Kept getting interrupted. It's like, psh.
Yeah. Halloween 2. Now I know I keep showing this off, but I can't help it. I love this release. This is probably the best release of Halloween 2 that you can get, unless you get it on Blu-ray, but it comes with the TV cut. There's a ton of bonus features. It's just the best edition of this movie to have. This is probably one of the best sequels in the series. It brings back Jamie Lee Curtis, and we find out more as to why Michael Myers is doing what he's doing.
I said my piece with it. I like the movie, one of my favorite movie sequels. I said my piece to it a lot of times. You know?
Double feature of Halloween 4 and 5. Now, 4 I happen to like. It's another of my favorite sequels in the series. They really did a good job with that one in taking it back to the basics of the original.
It's like number 2 on my list.
But then we get to part 5, which really went downhill because they rushed it into production after part 4, and they were competing with themselves because 4 was coming out on video, it was hitting HBO and all that, so it didn't really do well in the box office, and except for here in the US, it went straight to video. And it was just a really crappy sequel. I don't know what else to say about it.
6. Chris and Michael Myers.
This one's kind of a mess, although I do thank Lil Craze 25 for getting me this and completing my collection. But I kind of like this one, but it's still just a real mess.
Yep, and I think I'd rather see the special edition one.
The producer's cut?
The 3 cuts one.
Oh, yeah.
I want that one. I've seen it at eBay. It's like...
They want a lot of money for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's one that's tough to get.
Yep, and it's like different cuts. I've seen pictures of the different cuts. And I would, if I can get that for a decent price, I would love to watch all 3 cuts.
Yeah.
Especially the last one. That's what Donald Plus the last performance.
Right.
At the end of the one cut, Michael Myers was right behind him.
Right.
And that's where it ended. I think ironic, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. And one of my favorites, we have
and my favorite
H2O.
one, and this is my favorite one.
H2O, which brings back Jamie Lee Curtis, and it introduces Josh Hartnett as her son. I think this was his first movie, right before The Faculty.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a good job. Jamie Lee Curtis, she does an incredible job once again as Laurie Strode. You got people like Michelle Williams, LL Cool J. This movie had some decent people, and it was, ironically enough, executive produced by Kevin Williamson and directed by Steve Miner, who directed Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3.
I love this movie. I love Jamie Lee Curtis returning to the role. I wish they would just not. I wish they would just incorporate the other movies into it, but what can you do?
Yep, what can you do? Maybe there's like some kind of cut they have with scenes they were going to shoot and took out or whatever. But I've never seen one. Oh, don't even get me started. Halloween Resurrection.
Okay.
Piece of shit. They kill off Laurie. Then you deal with this reality TV bullshit. Busta Rhymes karate kicking Michael Myers. Really?
Him talking. Ugh. Can I throw it?
No.
Please?
No.
Come on.
No.
Bitch. Okay.
My movies are not allowed to be thrown.
Oh, look! Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Now, this one I like. I do like this one. I do not like the sequel.
Yeah, let's do this. Okay, this one. Okay,
This one.
I'm trying to shake which one to the camera. This one. It's a decent movie, but I found the first hour boring as hell.
I found it kind of interesting, except for the part where he's in the psych ward. That's the part I don't like.
Killing the family, I can understand, but the other stuff they add to it is just, I found it boring as hell, and to see what the point was.
Well, I'd actually like to get the R-rated cut of this, because there's some scenes in this one that I'm not particularly fond of. Like how he breaks out with them 2 like crazy orderlies that come in and rape this woman in his room, and he kills them, and that's how he breaks out.
I don't know that. I don't know what the R1 is. Probably
the R-rated cut. They got the cops, and they're taking him out, and he kills all the cops and breaks out.
I just know that Walmart still has it for like $3 right
I'd like
now.
to get my hands on it.
I think Kmart has it for like $1.99.
Wow.
Ugh. Okay, this is just a piece of shit.
Yes, it is.
It makes
a convoluted mess.
It's a mess. It doesn't make sense. It's like, what the hell?
You know, you get Michael Myers seeing white horses, or as Rambo Afterlife says, oh, it's Michael Myers seeing Trigger. And I agree with you, Matt. What is the point of that? I don't know. Somebody please tell me. What is the point of Michael Myers seeing a friggin' white horse?
I'm sorry, Rob Zombie, stay away from Halloween from now on. I'm not sorry, stay away from Halloween.
Well, he's not involved in 3, I can tell you that.
I'm telling you to make sure he's not going to be involved. Stay out of it. They should complete the series before they actually made remakes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I agree.
But no, his son has to be an idiot.
We have the cool documentary, Halloween 25 Years of Terror. This deals with the first 8 movies, I think, of Resurrection.
It talks a little bit about remake.
No, it doesn't. It talks about the part 9 they were going to do because there was a girl at this contest who won a part in it. But they were taught then Mustafa Akkad and his daughter died in that suicide bombing, and his son took over the company, and that's how Rob Zombie got to do his remakes.
I heard a little bit about the remake in here.
No, what it was part 9, because there was going to be a part 9 after Resurrection.
Oh, they should have gone ahead with that, but the son just did not know what's best for the fans.
Nope.
You know,
there may be some fans that are pleased with the Rob Zombie ones. Like I said, I like part 1. I don't really care for part 2. But that's Halloween. And now we're going on to the classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the 2-disc Steelbook edition, probably the best edition to have.
Bam! Gonna beat your friends with.
2 discs, you get it. You get the movie remastered. It's got 2 commentaries, a bunch of bonus features on the 2nd disc. Everybody knows about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend checking it out. This is the original. I do have the remake though, and I will be showing it off, so don't worry. I do have them all. One of my personal favorites in the series, this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Now this one has Dennis Hopper in one of his craziest roles ever, which I think makes this movie even cooler.
I never saw it.
This is a good one to watch. Because I think this was the only one you didn't have, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to watch that one. Part 3. This is actually the first one I saw, and I can remember it pretty vividly. But it was one, it had an early performance from Viggo Mortensen, and I think he did a good job. You get Ken Foray from Dawn of the Dead. He's like a survivalist. It was just a really interesting take on the series, and I think they did a good job, except for what New Line and Bob Shea tried to do by screwing over the director, and they kept cutting and cutting to avoid like an X or an NC-17, whatever the rating was. This isn't even the fully uncut version. If you want that, you have to get, I think it's the Laserdisc.
The Next Generation.
Piece of shit.
I don't know. It feels rushed to me. It doesn't feel well written. It
wasn't. They released it at the time they did to cash in on Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey becoming big stars because neither of them wanted it released. And Sony released it anyway.
It just didn't feel like a real movie to me.
It was supposed to be this was supposed to be a remake.
Huh?
But here is the true remake. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the 2-disc version with Jessica Biel. Now I think this is a really cool remake. They did an excellent job with this one. Leatherface looks really menacing. The family is just creepy as hell. This is one that I can watch again and again and just never get enough of it.
Comes with crime scene photos, and we pull out chainsaw.
Yep. Now we get into Texas Chainsaw at the beginning. Now, a lot of people shit on this one. I think it's kind of interesting because there are a few scenes from the original they recreated, like the meat hook scene. And then there's the scene with Jordana Brewster crashing out the window like the girl did in the first one. But the ending I hated because it's like, how can Jordana Brewster not see this 7-foot-tall maniac with a huge-ass chainsaw hiding in her back seat? So basically the ending is everybody dies, and that's where the story of Leatherface picks up. Now we're getting into another classic in a lot of people's eyes. This is Prom Night. Now this one has Jamie Lee Curtis. I think this is one she did after Halloween and The Fog, but it's another one she did a good job in, and once again she proved she's a very capable actress. Leslie Nielsen's in it with her, and he does a good job. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's one I'm going to have to go back and watch again.
I've never seen it.
It's a good one. If you like Jamie Lee, it's one to watch. Prom Night 2. Now, I think this is my favorite out of the series because we introduced the killer of Mary Lou, who died 30 years ago in kind of a fire/accident, and the guy who tortured her is now the principal at the school, and his son is dating the hopeful prom queen who becomes possessed by the spirit of Mary Lou, and basically she goes around killing people. And it's actually a pretty cool take on like a ghost story. It's got some good gore. It's one that I really enjoyed. I saw it on TV as a kid, and I just remember it scaring me to death. But after that, I remember renting it a lot and just loving it. Now we have Prom Night 3 and 4. It's a double feature. I've only seen the third one because it's the last one with Mary Lou, and it was actually a pretty cool one, but I found out that these are actually the TV cuts. So what I'd like to get is that box set that was released in Canada because it has these two uncut. And if I could ever find that, I would be a majorly happy camper. I don't know what to say about Prom Night 4 because I've never seen it, so. And we have the remake. A lot of people say this was shit, but I thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, Jonathan Skage from That Thing You Do, he makes an interesting maniac. And I don't know, it was just one that I thought was kind of interesting.
I never really saw it yet, so. But
it's a series you'll have to sit down and watch.
But we have seen these.
Yep, the Sleepaway Camp series. A true classic among slashers. And what a perfect way to end this video.
Yep. Angela, the killer. Killing all throughout the series.
What can be said about Angela?
My, I don't know.
I knew you'd imitate the ant.
I used to do her all the time just to bug you.
I know.
And I stopped doing it, and I can't do it anymore.
Good.
No. That will not do. I'll work on it. Laughing.
But Sleepaway Camp, this is one of our favorites.
Yes, indeed. My favorite one's number 2.
So is mine. It's my favorite too.
Only real horror movie series thing we agree on, really. Number 2 is the best one.
Yeah.
And then number 3 was...
Part 1 is my second favorite.
And number 3 is not really the best, but it's kind of his moment.
It's okay for what it is.
It's moments like killing that spoiled racist teenage girl.
And then killing the head of the camp with a lawnmower.
Killing that guy with a gun with a spike. Being a Chinese girl with a stick.
Yep. Or the firecrackers up the dude's nose.
What's the one with Jason Ford? Which one had, like, Frey's gloves?
2.
That's one of my...
The kid was making the glove, and then the black kid had Jason's mask. And she took a chainsaw to both of them.
Yeah. This is us right there with this mask.
Sleepaway Camp 2 is probably the coolest in the series, but the first three we would highly recommend. They are enjoyable. Return to Sleepaway Camp, it's okay for what it is. I mean, it brings back both Ricky and Angela, as well as, I think, Ronnie is his name from the first one. But it's not as creative as the original was. I mean, the original, you didn't know who was doing the killing until the end, which made it really cool. But with the fourth one, even though you kind of don't know who the killer is, and you're thinking it's this fat kid that everybody picks on, I mean, you know it's Angela, and the end of it, it's not a shocking reveal.
Oh, I thought it was an awesome reveal.
It was awesome, but, you know, it didn't have, like, that shock value.
Sure, everybody knew it was going to come, but her laugh was fucking awesome.
I know, and then that look.
Yeah. I could like it for that. And other than that, it's just ended. I don't think it ended very well.
No.
I don't know. It left room open for a sequel, but
There's supposed to be a sequel. The director of 2 and 3 wants to do another one. But that was our video on my slasher collection. I hope everybody watches and enjoys it. And please, let me know what you think of kind of my new look here. I'm trying something new with the gloves and the hat. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Should I wear this more or go back to the Stewie hat? With or without the gloves. I mean, I'd like to wear them once in a while. They are comfy. My mom gave them to me. But let me know what you think of my new look. And as always, comment, subscribe, do what you do. Once again, I want to thank Cinema Sickness for wishing me a happy birthday. I want to thank everybody who sent me comments on my last couple videos wishing me a happy birthday. Once again, I did have a great birthday, and I will have a birthday update for you. I'm just waiting on a couple packages to come, but hopefully I will have some kind of update coming in the very near future. But until then, this is Lil Rocker Cutie 2005, also known as Andre. I'm chilling with the awesome Buffy Xena Man, also known as Chris. We're telling you to enjoy life, enjoy some Starburst, enjoy some Skittles, and
eat the chicken.
we're out of here.